and everyone who's here today. So my name is Amelin, and my partner in crime today is Danny. We're both from the Artivist Network. Yeah, I'm not going to go so much into detail with introductions. We kind of all did a nice introduction yesterday, but maybe we can just do a quick round of how's everyone doing just after this. But yeah, before we start, just a little background on what we will be covering today. So today we are going to be talking about creating visual tactics. Today's session, we're going to talk more about the role of visual communication can play in changing how we understand and seek to change the world around us. We're going to be building off some stories and concepts that we harvested from yesterday. We're going to also be going through various tools and different systems that we have and use to do our creative designing and creation of whatever we make. But before we go all into that, Danny, do you want to maybe share the slides while we maybe just go for a quick round of how are you feeling today? I'm Amelin. I'm feeling quite pumped and a bit excited for the weekend. It's going to be an awesome weekend, I think, this weekend here in Malaysia. Danny, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, welcome everyone. And I just want to say that it's really nice feeling that this turned out to be a very, very intimate online training series, and I think that this kind of has its beauty, and I just want to like thank everyone who's here and kind of push the energy to be here twice in 2 days. It's difficult to spend this amount of time in front of a screen and listening to people talk, and also yourself talk and push yourself to communicate. Especially when spring is here, except for in Hungary. In Hungary, spring is gone. It was here, but now it's really cold. So I'm kind of it's midnight here at the moment. So I'm not bothered about the weekend at all. And it's just yes, it's bad weather. So it's kind of great. Otherwise, I'm feeling good. I was sick most of the weeks, and now I am doing much, much better. So that's great. And I'll pass it to Kira.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. I'm doing well. Definitely excited about spring. It kind of just hit here. I feel like a week or two ago, it still felt pretty cold. So it's been nice to enjoy the warmth and see more humans and creatures and everyone out and about, and definitely really thankful for this being a 2-day session. It is nice to have an intimate crowd, and there's definitely benefits to larger crowds and smaller crowds, and really thankful that you're all hosting this though, and put so much work and effort, and really appreciative because it is such amazing information to learn, and especially it being midnight there, it's about 5:30 where I am, so I could not imagine. But yeah, I'll pass it to Haley.
I'm here. So the question was just how we are, right? Okay, I'm good. It's really sunny out, so I spent some time reading outside. And yeah, I'm just good today, I guess. I'll pass it to Angel.
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Yesterday's session was so amazing and so many tools were shared. And so taking what I learned from yesterday and then moving on to today, I think is going to be really awesome to see how it all lays out. Yeah, I am feeling pumped as well. The sun is out and I'm going to go camping this weekend. So I'm ready to go and forest bathe. Katie, I don't know if you wanted to go, but she's our ICA webinar admin right now. If not, then we can just move on.
Sure. Yeah, I'm doing good today. It's actually rainy where I am today, but I am loving it, actually. I'm loving I feel like we've been having lots of sun, and I feel like we haven't had a ton of like precipitation here. So I'm like welcoming the like sustenance because I'm wanting everything to be green where I am. So I'm just like feeling like chill in the rain, I guess is how I'm feeling today. And I'm excited to sit in on the workshop. And yeah. Is there anyone left
Awesome.
who hasn't went yet?
I think that's everybody.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. Yeah, awesome. Sounds like everyone's doing good. So shall we jump straight into it, I guess? Danny, do you want to share the slides?
Yes, for sure. We did plan a grounding exercise for the start.
Yeah, I was gonna do the intro first, but I think we can do it's a bit small enough. Let's do a short, simple grounding exercise, just to get us into the zone, into our creative minds. So this is a very simple grounding exercise. It involves your fingers. So if everyone can see, this is the motion we'll be doing. To press one finger at one time, let go, press and release with each one of your fingers. All right. So for this exercise, what we will be doing is every time you press down on your fingers, I want you to inhale. And when you let go, exhale. So with that same finger again, let's keep doing that. So inhale, exhale. Now with that same motion, as you inhale, I want you to inhale all that good energy, good vibes, what you're feeling around you, all the energy you felt from everyone. And when you breathe out, let that stress go, let the troubles of your day go. Let's put it aside for a while. Let it take a break. Inhale, exhale. You can go to your next finger. Inhale, exhale. Just focus on here, the now. Inhale, exhale. Let your troubles have a seat. Let them take a back seat. Let them sit on the bed. Let them take a nap for this next 2 hours. And one final inhale. And one final exhale. All right, I hope everyone is feeling a little bit more grounded and in today's session for the moment. And I pass it on to you, Dan.
Thank you. So, yes, I will start sharing my screen. And meanwhile, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the things where I'm going to show you just now. Basically, we kind of try to view different kind of tactics as something which has like a different kind of impact. And then there's like some things which you're looking at as a point of view where you're there for a minute, where you need to surprise, where you leave something permanently. And I think that all of these, which we are talking today, is kind of like evolving around urban areas. They could be used in different contexts as well, obviously, looking at the points of direct action, which I'm also going to show as examples. But basically, I would just like to show you some kind of images which we've been working with and tactics we've been using, and also share a few different kind of programs which we have found very useful, especially for people who are kind of starting off and are, for example, not experienced artists. And basically, at the end, we're going to have like this kind of like short exercise where we're going to ask you to create some sort of visual material together with us with the programs we're going to show you. So at the moment, I'll put that away for later, but just wanted to kind of give you a quick overview. So I've been working mainly as an urban artist and experimenting with different kinds of mediums. And I would like to first start off with something which has been one of our main projects last year, which is guerrilla projections. And can everybody see my screen just before I talk for a long time?
Yep, we can see your screen, Danny.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, we started this campaign called Free From Gas 1 year ago, and it launched in Budapest, where we were kind of using this tactic with the projector to be able to kind of like highlight different issues and use public spaces in a very different way. And it was very interesting because it was kind of like, it's a tactic where you have so many different audiences. So there's like a chance where you're going to project somewhere where the image is going to speak for itself. So you're kind of doing the action for a photo. And then there's times when you're able to do this during a protest where thousands of eyes are looking at the image which you're projecting. And this also varies from kind of time to time of, you know, like basically who's viewing and who's going to either intervene, interrupt, or come to discussion. And for example, our campaign started last year, or actually now, where basically like the war in Ukraine broke out between Ukraine and Russia, and basically all of this like energy map started to be redrawn. And also like Hungary, where I'm from, is one of like the craziest places of where you can kind of like see corruption done in a really bad way. So it's kind of like here, for example, in this image, you can see that like the whole Free From Gas campaign started. We had like the parliament in the image, and we were able to reach a massive audience because of the actual, just like the hashtag. And it was really interesting because we were in a really frequented area, and actually nobody cared about what we were doing. People were just kind of hanging out, and like some people came to talk to us, and like the police came and like smoked a cigarette, and nobody bothered us at all. But actually the power of the image, which then went online, was something which was actually had the bigger outreach. You already saw this example yesterday, but here I think something where like the audience is actually just as important as the image itself, where like George Floyd's portrait is projected onto the statue in Richmond, Virginia, but probably the public itself reacted as strongly as then the media. I mean, okay, this image had really big outreach, so probably not as much as in public, but still here, this is like a really different point of projection where there is a lot of people surrounding it. And here we used it. This is at the Gastec conference in Italy, where this was a collaboration between Extinction Rebellion, and this is on like one of the biggest gas conferences in Europe. And it was actually very interesting because XR disrupted the conference dressed as scientists, which then the people actually got like banned from the city. So they kind of weren't supposed to like do the action, but they still like did it and then published it the next day. But here it's like literally like we have more images of this, but it was kind of like just a massive power of where like huge security is kind of there to stop everything which is happening. And after that, the outreach of it was very powerful. This example is from the Netherlands, and we were doing a project together with Fossilfrij, which is an organization in the Netherlands who are working towards pushing fossil fuel companies out of cultural life. And the Netherlands is a really, really good example for this because they've been very successful for like basically like pushing the Van Gogh Museum to break ties with Shell, and have had many other institutions not accept any more money from fossil fuel companies. But this is a projection which we did beside the National Opera, and which is financed by ING. And it was a really, really good time to do it because there is an event there called the Amsterdam Light Festival. And all over the city, there was different kind of installations and this was the closing weekend of it. And like Amsterdam is full of different canals, and they had all of these tours. And as we were projecting all of these tours, like there is somebody who is basically talking about each artwork, and they were like speaking into this megaphone. And once they arrived at this, the people were asking like, so what's this one? And then like when the person said it, well, this is actually like not part of the exhibition, but it kind of seems like an environmental action done by some people. And then it was really great because like all of these people, each time the boat passed, were like clapping, and we were able to stay there for hours and nobody was bothering us. And it was actually like quite funny. Like some people even like brought us like glasses of wine and so on. It was like just kind of like very interesting. And this tactic is something which is really, really powerful, and at the same time is really kind of funny because there's very rarely a country where there's a law about projecting onto their building, because you're like not allowed to like hang a flag on it, you're not allowed to spray paint, you're not allowed to poster on it, but there's not really a law which forbids you from actually just projecting on it. And it is just something which is really eye-catching, and especially if you're able to do this in like a central spot, then it's just something where you are able to like organize people to be there, to hand out leaflets, to just talk about why you're there and what you're doing. And we managed to do this here because we were on like one end of the canal, and on the other side, just beside the opera, people were there handing out leaflets and talking to the public. So it's this technique is something which has been really useful for us to be able to kind of just like put massive artwork onto walls without having any real issues. Here, the real issue is kind of like getting your gear confiscated, but this is usually something which you're able to communicate and you're able to like pack up and leave. By the way, like since even though these are like still images, most of the things which we're projecting are actually like animations and different kind of motion graphics. So if you're interested, you can have a look on our social media to see most of our actions actually have like a short video cut from them. Yeah, this was done in Germany. And I just think it's a good example of how just even clean messages can have such a huge impact visually. And it's like really depends on which kind of building you're projecting onto. Like here, you were able to basically there was no public, but at the same time, like the power of the image, which is like from on this picture doesn't seem as an important space, but it is actually one of the main buildings for one of the companies in Germany. And the same way as like basically through social media, the outreach was really powerful. And this is one of my favorite ones. This is also in Hungary, and this is done by a team called Secret Mapping Project. And this is like an immediate response. Like the good thing about this is that you're really quickly able to basically just give a reaction, and you don't need a lot of people to execute the action itself. So once you quickly make the artwork, you're able to immediately project. You just kind of need a powerful projector, which is usually available if it's available if like some of the bigger organizations and you maybe have one, or you're able to rent one. But this like Make Art Not War is like literally the next day, the next evening from where the war broke out. And the war broke out between Ukraine and Russia. Sorry, it's so close. It's like our neighborhood. That's why I'm bringing examples from this. But just seeing of like what scale of art you're able to project with so low effort is I think really mind-blowing. But of course, again, it is like kind of like the more interesting part is who's going to see it and then who's going to react to it. And this is where it's like the beauty of it is also the sadness of it is that you're actually kind of making this for something which you're going to then show on the internet. But still it's it was one of our main projects for last year, and it was I think a really, really nice project to experiment with. And I'm going to show you some nice programs to play with it when we get to the end, to play with different kind of digital material you can make for projecting. Which takes us to the next one, which is inflatables. To some of you who were at the UN Climate Summit last year might have seen some of the inflatables which we have made. But basically, this is a really fun and really surprising tool which we use. And this is something which is more surprising and festive, less than something for media. I mean, also for media, because it's like really kind of like eye-catching. But this is something which we kind of see as a tactic which you can take to protest, where you're, for example, needing to form a blockade. It can be symbolic or it can be actually a real blockade. And these pipelines have been something which has been a really exciting tool to play with, because basically they're made from a roof insulation foil. And to make these kind of like, to make the actual pipelines, it's something very, very simple. We actually already did a workshop for this week for Friends of the Earth in Tokyo, and we managed to like do the online training with them, and it worked out successfully. So it is possible to do this not only in person. But yeah, like the interesting thing about this is that, you know, so many times there's many different small visuals which kind of disappear in a protest, but this tool actually, like even the bigger ones, they fit into like a bigger backpack, and you need a leaf blower for it. And we were building these inflatables for March, which is happening in Vienna a few months ago, and it was against a massive gas conference which was held in a super elite hotel with like tickets of 4,000 euros, and these pipelines were used by people who started to blockade the streets on the way towards the hotel. And it was kind of like something which kind of hijacked like the attention of the media. And it was really interesting because it's like something which can look kind of like a little bit threatening from the first moment, but in some seconds somebody just starts to bounce it, and it turns into this like huge bouncing ball, which is just beautiful, because then it turns into kind of like festival and kind of a party. But then when it's needed, it can be immediately pushed to the front and can be used as something which can be kind of like a powerful stance of like, this is where this needs to stop. There's a few other forms of inflatables. We are working together with Tools for Action, and they started this inflatables, which are called the inflatable cobblestones. They started building them at the COP21 in Paris. So it is like the symbol of like the revolution with the stones they have there, the cobblestones. And these cobblestones were built to actually form this like massive wall, and then when needed, just like turned into this like huge parade. And it's something where like, you know, you're in like this like kind of moment where it's like kind of going to escalate. And this example, which I'm showing in a picture, comes from Ende Gelände from Germany, which is a huge almost festival of occupation in a coal mine in the Rhine area. And we did a training in Paris for this, and then 6 different countries built their own cubes and then all brought it to Germany. So basically, like each different team had their own 20-30 cubes, and we were able to, at the moment of where, you know, something would escalate, you just like inflate these big shiny cubes, and basically it just causes this confusion because it's like it has like massive presence, and then suddenly you're able to just like flip them up and play with it. But by the time you're already at that moment, you've already managed to kind of ease the tension, which is kind of like gives you this extra few minutes where everybody can kind of think about their next steps. Also wanted to show this example of this hammer made in Copenhagen. Yeah, basically, I don't think I want to say more about this. I think it speaks for itself as a massive, as like a massive and strong symbol. And also made by Tools for Action, this project called Signal. I just think it's a really, really beautiful image, and I just know that they do great work. So I kind of wanted to show this as like an example of what other kind of work they're doing. Like they're all kind of like contemporary artists using these inflatables for different kinds of interventions, and they use it from making street raves to doing different kinds of political interventions, supporting the climate movement, and so on. So I just kind of wanted to share this image as well. It's something which I think is really beautiful. Which takes us now to the thing which is more feels like home for me. I mean, I have been working with all of the different mediums I have showed you. We have been working with them. But I come from the background of like basically a street art scene, and I've seen a lot of use in the techniques which this movement uses, which can be in support of the climate movement. This is a very cool example where I put like aniline on a wall, but it actually has a much deeper meaning about the whole idea of waste and recycling, where, you know, the whole idea of the way waste is created, and the way kind of like your idea of like you're a good person because you do your recycling. In the end, actually, the trash will end up in massive dumps in Indonesia. Sorry that I'm a bit vague about this, Evelyn. If you feel offended about this, the vagueness of it, you can step in. But I have a few other examples. But basically, these paintings, I'm combining so many different tools, and we're also doing workshops on how to use these tools. You can see that the painting itself, the painting itself is mixed media, but is made of like poster and like kind of like different paint rollers with different textures. And the portrait in the middle is made with a program which we are using. It's called Rasterbator. It's not the most beautifully named program in the world, but it has been a massive use for us, because usually if you want to print something which is at such a large scale, it's usually like financially quite heavy to be able to do this, and also to get this done something of a rapid response, or if you have, you know, limited amount of time to get this done. In this program, basically, you can take a picture and you can put it through this program and give it your like measurements. So you want something to be like 3 times 4 meters or 1 times 2 meters, and then you can see that it's all A4 pieces of paper, and basically it just prints it out for you, and you need to layer them up. So we've done many different kinds of projects where we're kind of washing together different kinds of mediums and kind of encouraging people to experiment with them, because then when you're creating an art build for a protest or making some sort of visual for your intervention, then turning to these different kinds of tools, you're able to execute a really large size and really impressive quality of artwork, basically with not using anything else than your camera and the most basic photo editing skills which somebody can have. And then like kind of you just kind of like style it the way you want to, but for you to be able to create this art, you need no artistic skill, which I think kind of makes it something which is beautiful because of how accessible it is. Yeah, here I think this is where it's like most visible of like the paint rollers, the stencils, and then like the poster in the middle. This is something where we did with Friends of the Earth, but I'm guessing you would know that because there's Friends of the Earth written on the placard itself. And this is not our work, but it is one of my favorite artists in the world. This person is called JR, is an artist based in France, and they are creating massive artwork, all photography based. And this is an image made of a little girl who managed to escape the war in Ukraine, and basically a lot of his work is connected to refugees and different kinds of like people who have to escape their homes due to different circumstances. And this scale is like something which is really, really exciting. And to be honest, even not maybe at this size, but with the Rasterbator program, something similarly impressive could actually be achieved. Obviously, they are working with a quite different budget than most of us, but this one, for example, is called Immigrants, and it's like just basically like it's taking back to like old examples of immigrants being photographed, and it's part of one of their exhibitions, which I found absolutely mind-blowing. Excuse me. And this image was made at the US-Mexican border, and is looking to the side of the US, and is photographed by one of the children of somebody who was trying to climb the borders or get through the borders. And I think that yesterday you could also see Similar examples of work created by this, more by local artists, meaning local to you. But I just really wanted to share this as something which is a really impressive form of photography used for, I would say, direct action. And you already saw these pictures yesterday. This is made by Medio Colectivo, where on different kinds of colonial statues at the steps, they printed pictures of people who were migrating to Spain and people who were mistreated by the authorities. And I think it's also a very, very great scale to use. And for sure they are using, for example, the programs which I was explaining. And this takes us to brandalism, which is like another favorite thing for me. Like, these people are reusing or kind of subvertising campaigns. Like, I'm pretty sure you remember the Volkswagen campaign where they were like introducing this like amazing new green solution, which like turned out to be total bullshit. And during the COP21 in Paris, they took over all of the city and managed to change hundreds of bus ads with similar kinds of messaging, not the same image, because they actually had to call out for artists who were able to submit art, which was then printed and then replaced in these bus ads. But you can actually order the keys for this on Amazon, depending on who your like local advertisement company is. But in most cases, it's the same key which you can actually use. They have some tutorials on their website. If you're interested, I'm happy to share them. But their work is something which is like extremely playful and kind of just like makes a joke out of everything. And I think that it's a really, really beautiful example of how subvertising companies whose kind of like image is total bullshit compared to what they do or what they're kind of showing themselves to be is it's just something which is just like such a beautiful technique, I think, to create the joke, and people laugh. And I think this makes kind of like the story travel. Here is just a few more examples. And there is like different ways these have been done. Like, you can see that here, it's actually like added onto an advertisement, less than like some like people actually pasting their own posters. And I think that this is something which is also a really funny way to do it, because it's just like this truly guerrilla way of like changing the story of what that poster wants to say. And yeah, these are the examples I wanted to show to you today. And I'm interested if you would have any questions of what I have shown just now. I will stop sharing my screen for a little bit. Whoops. And thank you very much for listening to me.
I don't have any questions. I just have I guess a reflection of how impactful those images are, and how I think how hard the organizing must have been behind all of that, like especially the cubes, to have everyone just like bring their own cubes, and then for that message to spread where they all just brought their own cubes. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a mindfuck. Sorry for my language.
Yeah, now like I'm seeing all these images and like the projection screen, and seeing that in Canada it's not showing up anywhere, that it's illegal. So maybe I need to do more searching into that, but it just like springs up a lot more ideas for us, because Indigenous Climate Action is going to be hosting a healing walk around the Alberta tar sands. And so it would be cool to do like a projection image, like art piece, or even like a visual art piece there as well.
Definitely. And I mean, the funny thing about it is, sorry.
No, go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I just wanted to say that kind of the funny thing about it is that usually the police are not really sure if it's legal or not. Like, there's like, kind of like they come and then they're kind of looking at you and they're like, so, what are you doing? And you're kind of like, well, we're just like projecting this image. And they're like, but how long are you going to be here for? And we're like, I don't know, like we can pack up in 10 minutes or can we stay? And then usually they're like really not sure. And they're like, do you have a permit for this? And we're like, do you need a permit for this? And they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Just like, don't be here for too long. So it's like, we've never had any like bad reaction really.
Yeah, but of course it's situational. Like, police react to activists in different ways in different places in the world. But yeah, maybe what we can do right now is we can just go through a few prompt questions and it would be nice to hear what everyone thought of the examples that you just saw. Maybe like what caught your eye? Have you seen any similar actions in your local context? Or maybe which examples resonated with your own ideas? Anyone would like to share? Don't worry, you can take a minute or two to think. Feel free, anyone, if you'd like to start.
I think one that comes to my mind is when the children's sorry, this might be just triggering for some, but when the children's bodies were found at the residential schools here in Canada, an action that community members did was they put little baby shoes all on the residential school steps, or they would put baby shoes like in prominent areas with the orange t-shirt, the Every Child Matters t-shirt. And so it was just like seeing the little baby shoes was just so impactful for like Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. So I think that was something that really was a huge action.
Yeah, definitely the power of symbolism, the visuals that can come about by having a physical item that's linked to the issue. Definitely, these are very powerful visual tools. And like you said, for Indigenous, non-Indigenous people, it's a very easy message to understand of what has happened here. But yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Maybe Katie or Haley or Kira, what caught your eye? Any of these examples resonate with you?
The printing was an interesting one, especially where I'm from. I've seen like less of the guerrilla activism printing, which would be like great to see more of. But I know some local artists will work together to raise funds to get their art on billboards, but have it be about like the land here and like Indigenous culture here. We have like a place called Thunder Mountain, like in a Anishinaabe Moan, that's its original name, but it was like renamed after somebody that's non-Indigenous. And they made like a photography piece and had it put up on a billboard and like pooled the funds to do that. And another time they like embroidered all of like the waterways in our city and took a picture of that and put it up on a billboard. So it's interesting to think about like the kind of two halves of like action and activism of like fighting against the areas where like there is corruption and bad things, but also like reconnecting to that like restorative healing, going back to like growing community too.
Yeah, we like the Hungarian government's like favorite thing to use is like totally like unnecessary communication towards the nation who really doesn't care about what they have to say. Is like our city is like absolutely filled with governmental propaganda. And there was like, when there was like this like really huge wave of refugees coming from Afghanistan and Syria, then they started putting these posters, these like billboards and like bus ads saying that like in Hungarian, that like if you come to Hungary, you need to you need to obey our culture, you need to obey our rules. If you come to Hungary, you shouldn't steal our jobs. And then like, we have like a fake political party here called the Two-Tailed Dog Party. And they basically started this like call out for people to send their own designs where they like brandalized the same font, which is this like white font on like royal blue background. And they managed to fundraise so much money that they actually had like hundreds of billboards with just like everybody making jokes where like one of them said like, sorry for our prime minister. The next one was like, if you come to Hungary, please take our jobs. We've already moved to Western Europe. And like, it was just an amazing kind of way to see that how like community is able to kind of push back to something which they really don't want. So yeah, I just wanted to respond with like a similar example to what you said.
Yeah, and it really is exciting to see how like art and activism can build community, but also like how essential art is in like stopping activist burnout or slowing that down. And it really adds like more of a like restorative piece to it.
Yeah, definitely, I hear you. Maybe just as an add-on to what you just mentioned, a lot of times for these bills or these sessions or these examples that you saw, usually they involve a few days of one way or another, people coming together, an art space being formed, or something rather like a community coming together to actually create something, whether it's a small group of 2 or 3 people. Sometimes for some of these projection actions, all you need is maybe 3 to 5 people and you can do it. Sometimes some actions need hundreds of people. But at the end of the day, like what you said, a lot of these actions, the background of it, that's very healing, that has a lot of this restorative power and community power, which I would say really is the most important thing, where everything comes from. A lot of the times, this is part of the process to do something like this, that you need to create community. You need to find a team, people you can trust, people you can work with. And yeah, that's usually a very powerful thing, which I think can resonate with all of us here, you know, like that sense of community and that sense of building that can help you with your activism, help you push forward, and help give you energy as well, and motivation sometimes. Anyone else would like to share? Maybe we can ask the next question. Haley or Katie, would you like to share what caught your eye, or if any of these examples resonated with you, or any of your own ideas? It's all right.
I think like I would resonate with some of the like I really like the printing stuff, and then Angel's idea about the like maybe doing something for the healing walk. That was like really exciting for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Katie. Then maybe let's ask the next question before we jump into the next part. How would you see any of these actions being implemented in your local campaigns? Like, anyone, like, do you see, like, I know Angel mentioned a little bit earlier about maybe doing projecting, or like how to do this in a different way, but also Kira also mentioned a little bit about what she saw in her own neighborhoods as well, with the groups that are doing the billboard stuff. But specifically for your local campaigns or the things that you guys are working on, do you see any of these actions being implemented in any of your actions? Just as a quick, like, what do you think? Do you think yes, no, possible, not possible?
Yeah, I think where I am, it's very possible. I know there's a lot of like push for divesting from like fossil fuels here, but especially looking at like the banks for that, and even some of the slogans for that. I know there's a lot of like student protests here against the Royal Bank of Canada and like RBC is killing me, RBC off campus. I could see having like a projector handy to just put that like up somewhere, whether it be like on campus or on like on a bank. Like I could see a lot of value in having that.
Nice.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay, I think that if there's nobody else who would like to talk, then maybe we could continue with me showing you a few programs, which I think it's like they're really fun to fiddle with, and I found them really useful in certain situations. So I'm going to share my screen. Yes.
While Danny shares the screen, just a quick disclaimer to everyone here and for those who are watching this video in the future. You don't have to be an amazing artist or an amazing person who can draw, etc. No. That's what a lot of these tools are for. There's a lot of tricks and techniques you can do. Like some of the murals that Danny showed earlier as well, like he mentioned, they were made using like cut up brushes to make some lines, straight lines, etc. So I just want to put it out there, like myself, I come from a climate finance background. I came from climate policy, and I've learned so much from my fellow teammates at the Artivist Network. And there's so many things you can do without having to be a professional artist or anything like this. Anyone can make art. Anyone can make amazing things. Back to you, Danny.
Thank you. I'm not on mute, right? No. Am I?
We can hear you, Danny.
Okay, sorry. So basically what we're going to ask you to do is that we would like you to create some content where there's like a few different versions for, I just wanted to first just show you these few examples where creating, like I showed you these images of the portraits which we were pasting, and basically like very simple ways to do this is we're going to ask you to use Canva. And I don't know, Kira, if you have ever used Canva. It's a really, really user-friendly thing to do. I'm also happy to guide you while we're here. But like just by reducing opacity on certain layers and just erasing the backgrounds, you're able to create really, really really powerful visuals with basically like 2 or 3 steps. And I wanted to just say that these things, when they look something which is like more artistically complex, they are actually usually just made by like 3 different clicks. And this is like much easier to do it in like Photoshop or something, but it's not really about something being easy if you're like a graphic designer. We're really trying to focus on tools to be accessible. And for example, in Canva, you're able to achieve this sort of quality, which I think is something which is kind of basically, you can put this onto a placard, you can turn it into a street mural, you're able to use it for so many different types of art forms. But so we don't have breakout rooms just now because it seems quite unnecessary, but I'm going to show you a few different programs which I think are really fun, and I see them as like really, really good ways of kind of using this for the tools which I've shown, except for the inflatables. I just showed that because they're very, very cool. But even though there's no rooms, I would still like to kind of offer you these like different things that you can make, which is like, I pasted into the chat a few different websites where you're able to basically access thousands of like GIFs and animations, and you're able to customize them there, or just able to download them as templates and then use them in Canva. And then there's also, I'm going to introduce you to Space Type Generator, which is like an open source online kinetic text generator, which I will show you in a second how it works. It's like one of my favorite things at the moment. And then also wanted to kind of encourage you to make a subvertising campaign, for which I shared the Google Drive link, and you'll be able to have a look at the different kinds of mockups. Since we're really a small amount of people here, I'm also open to hear if you're using any kind of program at the moment. and if you are, then what you're using. So kind of like, here's kind of like what we imagined of what you would be making. And then, sorry, it's not changing. And like, here are the themes, which we've also talked about yesterday, which is like divestment, just transition, no more false solutions, colonialism causes climate change, and the healing walk. So we're kind of like open to your own ideas and own thoughts, and we kind of show these images to inspire you and to just like create a bit of content, a bit of like inspiration for the case. If you ever wanted to turn to any of these tactics, then you'll be able to kind of think about when you were in that moment of when we were talking about this, then what kind of made you do these. So, and yeah, okay, this is, we're just going to, the reason I just did this is because you can basically just download the things from the Google Drive, put them into Canva, and you're able to then like copy paste layers onto each other, and you'll see from the different templates I showed you that you'll be able to, wait, where is it? So you go into the mockups, and here like there's just like a bunch of different things where you're able to like paste your own thing. I know that it's not as cool as the real life stuff, but also just imagining of like in the world of like AI, like this is like kind of like the fake news, like, you know, what's like I think it's something really fun to play with, and kind of like something where you can create these and still catch attention. And then, you know, you can start a conversation even with spreading this kind of like, you know, inspiration. And then if you imagine that you put your artwork or you put something which is beautiful or carries a message, then I always think that it kind of triggers these ideas of like, why are we still accepting all of this advertisement in our faces? Like, we need to take back the power from this, and public space can't be run by people with money. Like, this is just totally bullshit. This can't be going on. And then I also think that when you think about the projections and think about subvertising, one of the really, really like powerful things, which are kind of stupid, but at the same time, everybody resonates with, is like memes. Like, I think that I don't know, like, of course, for this, you need to be someone who kind of hangs out on social media and looks at stuff, but just like, if you flick through these certain types of like meme templates, then you kind of like, you're already assuming a joke. And then, you know, you're able to project this onto a building. What happened?
Oh, I just let someone in the room.
Welcome. Yeah, if I can update you in 1 second. I'm just going to finish what I was saying. So just about like all of these meme templates, like people immediately like associate like what, like, you know, what kind of the joke is, and then you're able to place your own context in it. Hello, person in the room, would you like an update of what we've been doing?
I think it's okay, Danny. Let's carry on first.
Do we carry on? Okay.
Yeah.
So just a very quick recap. We're at the moment talking about the different kind of exercises we're inviting everybody to do today. So now this brings us to like, I pasted these links into the chat. So this is like image flip, which I think is just like something extremely easy and funny to use, but at the same time, like, you're able to find everything like in it, and also kind of like you can have a look at what meme is trending at the moment, what's you know, like what meme is trending. Like, there's thousands of different templates you can use, and you can like make GIFs, which I think that is basically like, it also means that if you're doing a projection, then that kind of means that you already able to create visual material for yourself to do something which people are able to resonate with. And the kind of like, if you're projecting something with a very, very strong political context, which people need to stop, look at, digest, and kind of, you know, think about, it doesn't always have the same kind of power as when they look at something funny and immediately get the joke. They're like, haha, why are, you know, banks not divesting from fossil fuels? And then, and here's the meme, which is like super funny and we all understand. So it can become viral really, really easily. So this is just one of the things which I wanted to invite you to do, is like, just like create some memes which you think are like thought-provoking and are in the context of what you're working with, what you're fight is, what you're standing for. And the next one is also connected to kind of like different visual things. This can be something which is kind of supportive of things which you're doing online, of things which you want to perhaps project. And yeah, like basically space type generator creates moving art based on text. And when you look at it, basically like if you go to the right where you have select, here you have different things which you can choose. You can choose like flag, and it creates this for you. And you're able to play with like different things. Like I would just suggest that you play around with it, like whatever, you can make it more intense, more fast, more slow. The wave can become a bit more weird. And then for this, like, oops, that's weird. Sorry, I made it very weird. Okay. But you can click on different kind of things, that something which is twisting, something like this. So if you imagine that this is either for this can be for so many different purposes, I think. And the person who made it is like, looks like a really, really nice person, and just kind of put this webpage out for you to be able to create like personalized art, which you are then able to, for example, project onto a building. And sometimes you don't have access to someone who's going to create an animation for you. So I would like to invite you to play around with these, and just like when you're using this, have a look, because you can usually see something which says save loop, and then you're able to save it to your computer or to your phone and upload it into the folder in the drive. So you can just go around with it. And, you know, for example, here you're able to see that in this one, you're not able to save it. Like that's the whole thing, that since it's something which is still in the go, like you're not able to save all the different kinds of things they are making. But I would just say, have a look before and play around with it. So yeah, and then, for example, I just wanted to show you an example like of what I did. Like here's like this, like, you know, just imagining that the way you can take over the ads in the world, you can just, you know, play around with so many different things. You know, you can like project onto a billboard. Sorry, we didn't have I didn't find nighttime billboards. But yeah, basically what we would like to invite you to do is like either make a subvertising campaign, create some kinetic art, link the two together. Here you're able to work with different layers. Yeah, and I'm waiting for your questions about anything.
Just before that, we go into the questions for that and for the exercise, just want to reiterate what Daniel was saying, that we've got a few different things for you guys to try out, and we're going to be doing a little exercise after this where you guys have the time to test all these different things, and then from there maybe make the subvertising campaign like Danny mentioned, using the mockups. Also, just as an add-on, from our session yesterday, we had 4 symbols that came up from our session yesterday on the narrative of things, building narratives. The 4 symbols, correct me if I'm wrong, was sun, butterfly, water, and circle. Am I getting this right, Kira?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, this is also maybe something you can bring, if you want to, you can bring to these creations that you're making today, maybe from a story that you were thinking about from yesterday, maybe something that inspired you from yesterday as well. Feel free to bring that forward today if you want to, or if you don't feel like it as well, like that's perfectly fine. To create something completely new. But yeah, does anyone have any questions at the moment before we? I think everyone's quite clear. Danny, do you want to take us forward?
Yeah, so basically I would say that just kind of like have a go and And like here are all of the links which I have already put into the chat. So one of them is space type generator, image flip, and then in the drive we're able to find some templates which you're able to put into Canva. Just to show you, here's like home in Canva. This is like you go to canva.com and you're able to like, there is like no strings attached with like the trial, like you logging in, you can log in with Google if you're comfortable with that. I think it's the most simple way to do it. And then you can create on making a design. And here you can kind of like have a look at what you want to do. Like you can make an Instagram post, for example. And then here there is like at uploads, you're able to just like add your own different images. And yeah, I would say have fun. And like there is just loads and loads of different options for what you want to do. You know, you're able to just paste something in it. You're able to put an extra layer, and then you're able to like, when you click here, then here's like layers. You can bring it front or forward. So when you bring it to the front, then here is like, now you put the billboard in the background and you're able to quickly paste this onto the billboard. You're able to rotate it a little bit. And then if you need to do anything, like, you know, you're able to take like the opacity of it. This makes it more like less transparent. And then, for example, yeah, I would just say that, you know, here's like kind of like options are pretty cool, I think, in this program. So I would just encourage you to play around with it and feel free to ask for any kind of help you need. And feel free to like just like browse online or use your own artwork or, you know, anything which you like to create this kind of stuff. Like here you can see that you can just download all of the mockups. They're really small files, so it won't take up a lot of space on your computer. And then you're basically able to just play around with them. And I would say that we would give you, depending on how much time you need, but like maybe until 1, like, sorry, yeah, it's not 1 a.m. there, sorry. I forgot. So I would give you like 15, 16 minutes, and then just feel free to like kind of check in on how you're doing. And if you feel you're finished, then since we're like a really limited number of people, I think we can brainstorm through this also if you would like to. And then if you feel that you're done, we can just basically also end the day if you feel like it, after having a little discussion about how you felt about our workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. So is everyone clear? Everyone's all right?
Yeah.
We'll take the next 15 minutes then to just go through the different links that Danny sent, the Canva account as well, like create what you need and want to create. If you use something else like Photoshop and you feel you're more comfortable with that, please feel free to do so. And yeah, we're going to be right here. So if you have any questions, anything like, what do I do with this? How do I send this image to the back or whatever? Feel free to ask us. We're right here. And you can, because it's a small group. So yeah. Everyone's okay then to go for 15 minutes to do this exercise? We'll be right here if anyone needs us. You can put on some music if you want, Angel.
I'm out of the gate and I'm feeling it out. I'm out of the gate and I'm making a sound. I'm out of the gate and I know what it's about. I'm out of the gate and I'm doing it loud. I'm out of the gate and I'm feeling it out. I'm out of the gate and I'm making a sound. I'm out of the gate and I know what it's about. I'm out of the gate and I'm doing it loud. I'ma speak and speak to my highest peak. I'ma seek and seek till it becomes a technique. Failure of police, how they treat my niece. No, one day you'll be a period piece. How they treat our deceased. No such thing as justice of the peace. Canada lies and lies. Ask can who's. There is no excuse for hate and abuse. I know it's tough. I know it's rough. We are still here. She is still here. He is still here. This is our time to rise. 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 I'm out of the gate and I'm feeling it out. I'm out of the gate and I'm making a sound. I'm out of the gate and I know what it's about. I'm out of the gate and I'm doing it loud. I'm out of the gate and I'm feeling it out. I'm out of the gate and I'm making a sound. I'm out of the gate and I know what it's about. I'm out of the gate and I'm doing it loud.
Girls, tell me where you at. It doesn't really matter if you're thin or fat. If he loves you, even though your booty's flat, put your hands in the sky, girl, holler back and say, oh yeah. Say that's right. Say oh yeah. Say that's right. I like 'em round, brown and greasy, like my fried bread and panic. An Indigenous girl, she be rocking my world and causing widespread panic chaos. My neck covered in tattoos, her neck covered in hickeys when I'm through. Heard she got a couple kids, oh yeah.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
I know I often write about the dark times in my life. Now it's time for me to ignite this light. Every now and then I reflect upon my past, cause everything that happened in my life it had to have. It made me who I am today, so now I just laugh. We should all spend more time being happy, not sad. At least LOL for these kids who feeling down. Take time to pick them up, and when they on the ground, they be looking up to you when you really helping out. A positive influence in their lives, what's about. So I'ma keep on doing what I do, that's my route. Ain't no need for GPS just to tell me where to go. I've been writing songs of hope since the day I could flow, but who knows where I'll go and where I'm gonna be. As long as this light is still shining and helping me see, cause I truly believe that this light is in me, and that's why
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine till the day that I die. Gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine till the day that I die.
and to the ones who be living in the dark, when you look up in the skies, you don't see them stars. All you see is scars. Remind you of your broken heart, question marks, cause they always ask you who you are. They don't know you go hard, they don't know you go far. All you need is a spark, so I'ma play that part and let you know from the start that my light's always on, shining bright in your path. And when you feeling all sad, know that I got your back. No matter where you at, you ain't ever alone, and I can promise you that I'll be right by your side when you're ready to ignite. And it doesn't really matter whether it's day or it's night, cause we always gon' have dark times in our life. So let the light shine, even if it makes you blind, and open up your eyes, cause you're gonna see the light. As long as we together, everything will be alright.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine till the day that I die. Gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine till the day that I die. So much going on in the world.
Yeah, something like that.
Doctor Strange when it bang, orangutan slang to my frames in the grave with the ADZK. You a slave on refrains with a cage on your brain.
When it rains, it pours.
Got a slang where the filth is in the drain, where the truth is in the pain, and the mutant ninja train. What this saying is deranged, rib cages rearranged, where the heart should lay is cracked.
Dang, living glass box, don't try to rock with us. Last one that did it, lie in hospitals. Gotta sign up to visit when your time up, niggas. Kill manga as a spitter, kill monsters with delivery. We'll see with my twin city pitter. Curry bucket to a filter with a double then a triple. What's the pastime? America pastime. The grab flies, bury a mother cry. Flash by another die. Curry this life hurting the 5 occupied live from Turtle Eye. Ninja what? Greatest lakes we surrounded by. Don't make a mountain out of rodent pie. Surprise, splitting knives in your side till your ribs is fried. No swine aim to be gold. Plus the kid is nice.
When it rains, it pours. It rains, but then I power up from the drip. Hakuna Matata, cooling from the bottom. With me and the Puebla sit. I'm the opposite of quit. Obligated, probably chop a puppet strings quick. I walk on a mutant turtle with electronic journals. As me and my friends jump hurdles from white men speeding at my funeral. My struggle beautiful, took the sticker off that lip removable. Here comes trouble, got the squad in the shuttle. Pop out, huddle, puff cloud, see that weak shit and chuckle. Ha, Ric Flair from the turnbuckle.
With the Ric Flair. Woo! Head wrapping thick hair. John the Baptist, no scriptures.
Wolf Morrow with the sixth stare, unclouded by hate, breath of the crisp air.
When it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it flows into the runoff, pours into the subplot, sticks into the static in the backstory. And rappers try to speak it, but they rap poorly. Like a second-rate mummification, mumbling hatred, coming complacent. They think they lie, but they under the basement. Ghost and scene of a B-movie storyline, lacking vision like the button eyes in Coraline.
Ain't a damn chorus line, warrior time. Super villain storylines immortalized. We bear witness, black and polar, Goldilocks and the 3 ogres ride. Have you thinking that the poor is fine?
Fools don't know the time like it was before clocks. 3 artists in your mind, you will see more knocks. Dropping it to ripple like the greatest lakes. But it ain't worth shit if we don't make it great. Trying to crack this thing open, trying to make it break. Houdini in my death will be my great escape.
When it rains, it pours. On my way to the corner store. When it rains, it pours. On my way to the corner store. When it rains, it pours. On my way to the corner store. When it rains, it pours. On my way to the corner store.
Yeah. Yeah. Melodic, what up? Check it. Yo. Step inside the militant-minded, confined him inside a sign confinement. Picture the best, Pac and Nas combined with Russell and Dennis at an AIM protest. Check it, I grew up tough, underneath barbed wire cuts. If my stars ain't enough to tell my story, all these other rappers are mediocre, starting to bore me. Melodic said untie your brain to fully feel freedom. My grandma named me not Aunt Inez for a reason, so I could lead them. Free your minds from extinction and believe in freedom. Throw that government money back, cause we don't need them. Sovereignty's a myth in a nation full of ignorance. I've seen checks get spent on casino chips, and I wear my hair proud. This is true pride music, war hooping loud, equivalent to the American Indian movement. Yeah, yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me now? Alright. I'm not a rapper, I'm an activist who rhymes. This is how you're learning, you better read between the lines. Kill the Indian, save the man. Yes, all my friends descended from dead men who defended them. I got 2 braids and a beaded necklace, living young and living reckless. Got a bullet for the next hipster in a headdress. Step aside, I got that C4 flow. I'm ready to blow at any minute, motherfucker, let me go. I flow off the mental with the cynical syndrome. The epitaph, I'm wreaking wrath at the pinnacle. Fuck methodical, I keep this shit simple. I got the point at the top to pop the pimple. Sinful, I get erotic like a nympho. Keeping it loose, hanging rappers on the noose. I don't spit, I puke. You rappers ain't shit, but your flow's still equivalent to poop.
My colonial colonized name is Russell Means. I want to talk a little bit about radicalism and being called radical. You know, maybe it is true I am a radical, because all I've ever asked, all I've ever demanded, all I've ever fought for, all I've ever been shot for, all I've ever been stabbed and beaten for, or thrown in jail or prison for, is to ask and demand, any way, shape, or form, that the United States of America live up to its own laws.
Identity, searching in bottles of whiskey. I've seen my elders pass out under oak trees. Hairspray and methamphetamine feed their arteries. Empty memories shield the future possibilities, as suicidal tendencies tend to play the youth at a teen age. And teen pregnancy, we say, leaves babies with no fathers these days. And our ways are forgotten. Trading moccasins for N7s with Jordan socks that are cotton. Shit. Free your mind from extinction.
Just another broken promise. Just another fucking lie. Yo, trees ain't do shit. The government for the blind. While my people lie here and die. While my people lie here and die. While my people lie here and die. See my people lie here and die. This is for my ancestors. All my ancestors.
Oh no, we lost Marlene.
I actually have a question.
Yeah, sure thing.
On the space type generator. Okay, maybe I'll just share my screen.
Sorry? What space type generator?
Yeah, I'm just gonna share my. Okay, here we go. So yeah, because it kind of looks like oil in the background. But
Nice.
how to save? It says save PNG, but when I save it as PNG, it only saves as like a still image. It doesn't like have the wavy thing.
Well, that's kind of the thing about it. Let me have a look. If you're able to save that, because there's no, in like some of them, there's an option where you can save it differently. What was the name of that one? Danger. No.
Yeah.
It's Danger one. Yeah. So save PNG. Just because if it says save as PNG, then it's possible that it only lets you to save it as PNG.
Okay.
That's why I was saying that if you go like there's somewhere, if you go, for example, to flag or ribbon and stuff, then you can like save a loop. And I don't know, like that's the whole thing. That's why I said that it's like, this is a page which is still a bit in progress. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
But one quick, like if you do want to still keep that specific image, like you could just screen record and then you cut out that Like I do that all the time because yeah, I'm not the best at following things. Also, just as another statement, just one thing I want to mention, which I think Dan didn't really mention, but something I think everyone should know especially in the activism world. Feel free to copy. A lot of times, a lot of people, when they make art for activism and things like this, or like if you see a campaign slogan that really is catchy and makes sense to your work as well, feel free to copy. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of people are going to tell you like there are only like, a certain type or number of types of actions in the world. And a lot of times it's just copying these different actions and applying your own twist, your own narrative, your own concept and story to them. So the same way, I mean, with images and with visuals, again, yes, there is a lot of like copyright and things like this sometimes with artists and things like this. It's always good to get permission. But a lot of times as well, like feel free to copy something you've seen that looks cool. Yeah. Right,
Yeah,
Danny?
going back to the space type generator thing, if you do make a screen recording and cut it, then you'll be able to, like, if you wanted to use this for a projection, then it's actually the projector matters more than the quality of your video. So this would work actually if you just did like a screen recording.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, I don't know if you would like a little bit more time to play around with it. Yeah, Kira, you're like our #1 star of the training. So I would be interested of what did you think of the programs? Did you have enough time to try them out? And yeah, just interested in your feedback.
Yeah, I mostly used Canva, though it was cool to check out Space Type. I think that would be one that would take me a little bit longer to like learn and play with, but it's definitely not something that I've seen before. So it was cool to find a way to like get that animation in without
and you can put it in Canva. Like if you download it, you can actually upload it into Canva as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely yeah, Canva was one that I've used a lot in school, so it was really cool to see new resources. Same with Image Flip and even everything in the drive. Yeah, and cool to kind of extend it to usually for like class projects and stuff. It's a lot of like timelines and infographics with Canva, so it was fun to try something new and that was a bit more impactful, and especially playing with those video elements is something that I haven't done before, and thinking about what it can look like projected. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so I would kind of like to ask the question of, would you like to have more time? Or like, I also understand that you still have like afternoon in front of you, and I think that if you feel that you've like spent your time like in trying these programs, you've already like kind of seen them a bit, like we can also just kind of like ask if like any of you would have any final questions. We would be really happy to answer them. Like if there's anything you think that you would like to kind of like see a bit more clearly about the tactics, or just like general questions you had about any kind of the organizing behind it. So also no pressure. And I think that because we're such a small team, I think that we are happy to be also flexible and ending a bit earlier if there's basically like no other questions, or if you feel like you would like to go.
So yeah, guys, do you want some more time? Or should we go into this little discussion?
Yeah, for me personally, I'm feeling pretty good about how much I've got to test out the different websites. I also just wanted to say like thank you so much for taking the time to host this and gathering the resources and everything. It's really been such an informative 2 days, and yeah, I just appreciate your time and effort so much.
And thank you, Angel, for organizing it. and
thanks,
thank you
Angel.
everybody for spending the time. Yeah, you had like a big time, like you got a lot of information, I think.
Okay, then if it's all right, before we go to the questions that Danny asked, just wanted to ask if anyone wants to share what they made, or I don't know, maybe just tell us like what Kira just mentioned as well. Anyone else would like to share what you thought of the tools, etc.? Angel, Haley, or Katie, anyone else?
I made one. I just don't know if it like is really on the topic. It's just kind of what popped into my head when I was looking at it.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you're comfortable sharing it, we would love to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's like on topic though.
No worries, no worries.
I think we're just curious.
If you're okay to share, you want to
Yeah,
share your
I'm
screen?
just trying to pop it in this thing. So when I came up with this, I was looking at the sun, butterfly, water, and circle thing, and this was my first thought.
I love it.
Amazing. Nice.
Straight to the
Super
point.
cool. Yeah, but that's why I think memes are really good because it's just kind of like people can like connect to it very easily. So I think it's just like a nice thing to.
Yeah. Maybe one little resource that might be you might find interesting, Haley. There is, okay, I don't know about when it's not the COP, but during the COPs, usually there's a Tumblr account, which is just collecting all these kind of memes and funny things, which is like exactly in the line of what you did as well. And like it's just a complete Tumblr page of like all things related to like the climate negotiations that tend to be very frustrating at the COPs. And it's like simple things like this, like you made as well, like that resonate with people. It's so easy. You like everyone here kind of laughed, even though like, you know, I understand what the boiling water situation thing, that advisory thing is, but like even though I don't really have that where I am, I can understand it through that meme as well, you know, like it helps give context as well, which, yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, we actually have an ongoing meme project, which is called Spring is Coming. If you want to check it out anytime on Instagram, it is like basically all, it's all about like how to deal with like the energy crisis in like kind of, you know, how do you call this? I don't know how to say this expression, but like, you know, kind of this like sweet and sour way. So it's kind of like just all about like, I don't know, I'm guessing it's kind of similar everywhere, but here it's like there's just so many jokes of like about like an old lady who's like in like Central Eastern Europe. Like we have this like really typical like Slavic old ladies, and it's like half of my pension was spent on this dinner, but at least I'm not threatened by illegal immigrants. And it's like we have all of this, like it's just like a bunch of really funny memes collected.
Yeah, we'll put that. It's Spring is Coming, I think.
Yeah, I just wrote in Spring is Coming memes on Instagram.
And I see Kira shared something as well.
Nice.
Yeah, just the Canva video. Thought I'd pop it in there instead of sharing the screen.
Very cool. Super nice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, really nice, Kira. I see you're definitely resonating with the projection stuff, the bigger billboard stuff, Kira. Do you want to maybe share a little bit about like why you feel you resonate with this medium?
Yeah, I think it just is something that I haven't seen too much in my community before, but we also in like grade 7 watched a documentary where that was like a really prominent form of activism called Racing Extinction, which was really interesting and good at the time. It aged oddly because it was like that was 7 or 8 years ago that we watched it, but it was before Elon Musk became a more controversial figure and they were very excited about the Tesla. So it definitely has a different vibe now. But I remember when we were watching it then, I was like, this is the coolest thing, and like such a smart way to have like mobility and really get the message out in a lot of different places while also maintaining some like anonymity and yeah, really like striking.
Nice. There's also a group in the US called the Illuminator, and I didn't share any of it because it's kind of like I wanted to share like kind of like a bit more things which are a bit more local to us because maybe you've seen less of that. But it's really worth checking out the Illuminator. They do really, really crazy stuff all over the United States, and they're kind of they advised us on so much stuff about getting the projector and like holding workshops for us to learn how to do it. It's really worth checking them out. They're really, really on spot with everything. Yeah, Angel, nice.
Yeah, I like your image of that moving butterfly, like it's from the symbol of yesterday. And yeah, looks really awesome.
Nice.
Angel, you want to say anything about what you made? About your process or what you thought?
I was gonna put like the divest from fossil fuels, like where this third butterfly is, and then the invest in Indigenous knowledge on the second panel. But yeah, I was just having a bit problems with the text box thingy, but yeah, I think it's just also kind of a clear message, like replacing the trees with like the oil rigs and the sun with the cloud. Yeah, just this transition that would happen.
Nice. Good job. You found this like this was in Canva, these pictures of this like butterfly in motion this much?
Yeah.
Wow. Go Canva.
Yeah. I was gonna change the last butterfly to be black, but I had to get the pro version.
Yeah, everything has limits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Nice stuff. But yeah,
yes, thank you for sharing. Go ahead.
Yeah, and sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would just say that if you have any questions about like more advanced use of the programs, like feel free to reach out to us through email. Like we're really happy to advise you on anything. And also if like you have a look at our resources on our webpage, then we have a bunch of like videos and stuff explaining like how to do a guerrilla projection as well. So it's like we have a lot of different kinds of materials there, which you can watch if you need kind of like a quick kickstart to your action. And then if you don't understand something, you can just get in touch with us. Okay, so I would suggest, should we go to a checkout?
Yeah, I'm okay to close early. Yeah, 15 minutes early if everyone else is.
Does anyone else have anything they want to share before we go into our checkout? Okay, I see thumbs up. All right. Then as a checkout, just kind of simple, straightforward. How did you feel today? How did you think the session went? And how do you think you feel moving forward in making art of your own? We all did a little exercise today. Everyone made really cool things. So don't doubt yourselves. Anyone can do this. Anyone. Anyone would like to go first?
I can go. I think the session went really well. It was really informative, and I really liked the beginning when you were showing the different like billboards and stuff. I had a really fun time making the memes. I'm still playing with it right now, so and hopefully we can do this again. I'll pass it to Angel.
Yeah, I had a really great time. I liked the smaller group. I feel like I got to know some people a little bit more, and yeah, it was really awesome getting to learn all the tools. And I think you really opened my eyes to the possibilities that could be had, especially for upcoming healing walks. So there's already like gears turning in my head and things and actions that we could do. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your experiences with us. It's definitely going to be memorable as, you know, as my experiences start to grow. And I'll pass it to Kira.
Yeah, no, I'm also feeling really good. Definitely excited about some of like the resources and ideas that I can bring back to like our community organizers here, and thinking of ways, you know, that we can kind of create tools and toolkits to make our local activism more like fun and energized and creative, and I think resourceful too is a big part of it. Yeah, definitely feeling inspired and excited to check out like all of the different movements that have been mentioned along the past 2 days. So great to hear more of like the global context of all of the other things that are happening, and just good to see other action and not feel so doom and gloom. Or like, yeah. Yeah, and so I'll pass it on to Katie.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I also enjoyed the session. I actually like less on a grander scale, but more just like on a micro scale. Feel like I got some inspiration in terms of like creating some digital media, and like how things can be amplified through digital media on social media and things like that. And I feel like some of the tools that were presented here were will like be very helpful, I think, in some of that, and like make for some like more fun and interesting like visual things that help amplify a lot of our messages. So that's kind of like my takeaway from it, which is exciting.
Thank you very much. And yeah, really thank you so much for organizing this and for coming and listening to what we have to say and what we have to share. So it was really, really nice for us as well. And yeah, again, like feel free to reach out to us anytime if you need any support, like just drop us an email. I posted our webpage into the chat, and you can like have a look if you want to the other resources and online workshops we have, if you want to have a check.
And one last plug, as a thing you can do after this, a lot of the tools and skills you've learned today, and the things that you can create, a lot of them can go into a digital zine. ICA has an amazing digital zine. The second round of submissions is now. All the things that you learned today potentially could be things you post and make into part of the zine. So yeah, feel free to do that, because I think it's definitely something cool to share what you've made with the world. So again, like Danny said, artivistnetwork.org, that is our webpage. We've got a bunch of resources there. You can email us or get in touch with us through our social media channels or through contact@artivistnetwork.org. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and have a nice rest of the day, rest of the morning, night, whichever you're doing.
All right, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.